Guys, M.V.K here back again. So, some news had came out of DC, the realm of DC, and I'm glad to talk about this because it involves a man that I do admire, a writer that I do admire, and that man is Scott Snyder. So, Scott Snyder on a live video, they basically announced something new that's coming to DC this September, and it's called All In, and I'm not talking about AEW but I'm talking about something that DC is bringing. It's something called the new Absolute Universe, and pretty much it is going to be more of connected to the current DC universe, but also have more creative freedom from what I read off of comicbook.com and things like that. And I'm here to talk about that for a minute. DC tried to do something different with the New 52 and failed. And there's a lot of people that can honestly say that what happened with New 52 wasn't for the better, and I had a lot of problems with it too. Yeah, it elevated certain characters, but it was a blatant mess for a lot of things. Being the fact that here's some of the things. One, it announced that a lot of the things, the heroes were only around for 5 years. 5 years. However, all the major stories, from the death of Superman to Nightfall to Killing Joke, all these, they happened in the span of 5 years, right? Okay, but how come they don't know each other? Makes no sense. So there was a lot of messed up things. Yes, like I said, it elevated. Probably one of the biggest thing that it did was elevate Aquaman to a better status for a lot of people who never really cared about that character. Me, I'm not one of them. But with this being said now, this Absolute Universe is going to be done by Scott Snyder and Josh Williamson, and DC All In will give fans a new universe and an epic dark side focused story. So the Big D is going to be the big center, I guess, bad guy. I don't blame you. Darkseid is a big threat. So they did this on a live stream once again, and it probably was one of the worst kept secrets ever, because I kept hearing word about this, and I had a couple of buddies telling me that something is news coming for DC, and I'm just like, okay, I'll wait till I'll hear more. But they were right. So the pretty much, like I said, so according to certain sites like comicbook.com, Absolute Universe, DC Absolute Universe is gonna, the entire plan is to introduce all new content, but elevates rather than ignore classic elements of DC history. What did I just say? New 52 tried to do that and it failed. As part of this initiative, Snyder is helping DC spearhead a new universe, Absolute DC, which will feature modernizing takes on many of the publication's most beloved characters. DC wants to create a new universe, one that can coexist alongside the current DC universe rather than replace it like the New 52 tried to. While DC has been resisting and inquiring about the rumors, new images have popped up online showing off first looks of Absolute Batman, Absolute Superman, and Wonder Woman. Snyder goes on to say, "This is something we've been working on forever. We've been working on it for 2 years behind the scenes." He later added, "The idea is to create the greatest jump on point for you guys in many, many years. Absolute DC All In #1 will kick off the event in September, and then every book of DC will be coming out in October. All In, written by Snyder and Williamson, will be a flip book with one side drawn by Daniel Sapere and the other drawn by Wes Craig. In it, half of the story will be told from Superman's perspective and from Darkseid's. DC have attempted similar scale reboots for years, most notably their All-Star, their Earth One line of miniseries and original graphic series. Each of these lines created a small amount of titles which have done fairly well in bookstores, but none of them existed in a shared universe. That is absolutely correct. I have a lot of the Earth One books, and I love those. Those are really good, but they never were in a shared universe. And now some people say, oh, does everything always have to be shared, or does everything always have to be in the same universe? To a point, no, but this is DC we're talking about. This is, if you're coming from one of the biggest American publishing comic companies, of course they should be in a shared universe. It is always weird to me when I see that kind of stuff, like, oh, Superman's never heard of Batman, or Green Lantern's never heard of Flash, or this and that. They're in a different universe. Those were good books, but they were not in the same universe. And same thing with somewhat with All-Star. There were not all, they were kind of in the same universe because it was, but you never saw All-Star Batman hanging out with All-Star Superman, did you? No, you didn't. They go on to say the idea of Absolute DC will allow star creators a ton of creative freedom on their books, but it will be playing into a story that pays off over the course of 2 years. So the creators will have more freedom. I am appreciative of that. Sometimes creatives, they have these ideas, and then their publishers or their editors like, no, you can't do that, no, you can't do that, oh, well, you can't use that character because this writer's using that, or something like that. And it sucks. It does suck. But I hope that works out. It goes on to say, what we came up with, along with a bunch of great creators, Mark Waid and everybody else working on the lead up to it, is that during the events of AP, Absolute Power, unbeknownst to the superheroes, Darkseid starts to realize that something has been missing. He senses something in a special moment during Absolute Power that we don't want to spoil. He senses something has changed, and once he realizes it, he sets off on a quest that's going to bring into direct conflict with this new Justice League that Superman is setting up, this more robust Justice League. The collision between those two forces will shape the DC cosmos. That's what creates a dangerous, wild new planet, the Absolute DC universe, where Snyder said they have brought in some of the biggest names in comics, as well as some of the rising stars to kick off an epic story that will drive DC for years to come. If the main universe is founded on Superman's energy, then Absolute DC is founded on Darkseid's energy. In it, the heroes are underdogs and the world is darker, so they have to be tougher, they got to be more resourceful, they have to shine brighter. I like that. I like that indeed. Now, of course, there's going to be certain people that are going to probably, who wants to build up this, the BS rivalry, as always, and they'll be like, oh, this is just DC doing what Marvel is doing with this new Ultimate Universe. I don't care. I don't care if they copied. I don't care, because at the end of the day, competition is good for business. At the end of the day, imitation is a form of flattery. And I don't need your negative vibes of, oh, they're copying in my vicinity. Kick your negativity and get me away, because this just sounds cool to me. Okay? I'm all for this. I am all in. I am a fan of Scott Snyder. I love his work. I've always loved his writing. I hope one day I do get to meet the man. But at the end of the day, I'm all in. How about you? With that being said, guys, you guys take care. That is my thoughts on DC's All In. Are you all in? Or are you one of those haters? If you are, don't come here. You guys take care.